what's more scintillating to you? Being in a gorgeous part of the world, or the idea that you share it and know that it somehow is touching the heart and souls of millions of people?
Wow, no one's ever asked me that. That's crazy.
Would you still feel the same way if you couldn't share this?
Man, this is a crazy question.
That's my job.
That's wild.
Welcome back to the Anthony Gordon Show, powered by Lighthouse Edutainment. So let's be honest. Most people out there are locked in their rooms, glued to that little screen that was literally engineered to keep you addicted. Hours disappear into doom scrolling, self-diagnosing on TikTok, and chasing micro dopamine hits from an app that does not really care about your well-being. Meanwhile, outside, there is an entire world painted in beautiful colors that your iPhone cannot replicate. A world your nervous system is starving for. So we all know we live in a generation where anxiety is the baseline and I'm depressed is tossed around like small talk. And yeah, therapy and medication are legitimate and help a ton of people. But sometimes the first step doesn't need to be another pill or another drink to numb out. Sometimes the move is as simple as stepping outside, watching the sky shut down for the day. Sunsets don't ask you for a login, they don't judge you, and they don't track your data. They just remind you that you're part of something bigger than your notifications. And the wild part, your brain is literally wired to calm down when you're in nature. And yet most people of the Gen Z demographic haven't felt quiet in years. So as you guys know, social media is really trying to put your brain to sleep. We here on the Antony Gordon Show are trying to build a muscle that social media is trying to mute. This is the brain stretch for today. A father and a son in a car heading down the freeway, and God forbid this should happen, suddenly hit a little pebble on the road. Car does a 180. The father, God forbid, is killed instantly. The son very badly injured. Jaws of life, taken to hospital. Next scene, surgeon putting on surgical mask, walks up to the gurney and says to the staff, "Sorry, I cannot operate on this patient. This is my son. What's the problem?" So the answer we're going to reveal at the end of the episode. So be sure to write the answers on the comments drop below. Keep watching and you'll understand not only the answer, but why most people cannot figure out this brain stretch. So today I'm sitting down with Josh Platiello, one of the most popular outdoor travel influencers on social media today, to chat about why the most overstimulated generation in history is missing one of the simplest and most accessible solutions to anxiety. So if you're tired of feeling overwhelmed, if you're tired of feeling like life is happening to you, then this episode might be your wake-up call. Let's get into it. One of the analogies in nature is at times in our life, it feels like the sun is rising, and at times it feels like the sun is setting. That for sure is the segue to our special guest, Josh. You got to give me the last name. I've been rehearsing this for 20 minutes.
Platiello.
Platiello.
Or Platillero.
Platiello. So I think it's safe to say, Josh, that over the last period of time, you've sort of morphed into one of the leading nature tourist influencers, really resonating with millions of people across the world as the person who's got the most gorgeous sunsets superimposed with phenomenal music. And it's just the most relaxing and scintillating, unbelievable experience just to be with you. Take us back to the humble beginnings in the deep, dark Africa when you started this whole gig, and tell us how this idea evolved, how you developed this concept.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. It's great to be here. So 5 years ago, I was working I was a manager at Enterprise Car Rental. Great company. I still rent all my cars from there. And I was enjoying it there, but TikTok had just come out. This is in 2020, it came out a little before, but I downloaded it December 2019 and started scrolling. And I just had this itch to be a creator. I just wanted to make videos. And my deepest desire was to make an impact on the world and humanity.
So you're sitting there in Enterprise, whatever, renting cars and stuff.
Right.
And antsy inside,
Right.
feeling what? That there's more that you want to do, that this is not fulfilling your calling.
You could say it. I say for me, personally, it wasn't fulfilling what I wanted to do in life.
Okay.
I was like, man, life is short. You only get one shot. Like, I want to do something kind of crazy.
Okay.
And I was watching social media and I was like, this seems really cool. I want to try this out. So I downloaded TikTok, scrolled for a couple months, and I started posting videos here and there. And my first videos were totally different from what I do now. My first series that did fairly well was a series where I had an ice cube tray in the form of all the states in the U.S.
Yep.
And I would eat a state and react to what the state is known for.
What do you mean eat the state?
The states were in the form of ice cubes,
Oh, okay.
and I would eat the cube and chew it up and react to what the state is.
And how did that? What is the response? What is the? What kind of traction did you get in terms of people?
People, it was very humor. I think the whole series got about 27 million views over the course of
That's not too shabby.
50, 100 videos. It was exciting. I like the series format because people, they get into it and they can have stuff to go back. Like if the last one does good, they'll go back and watch the others too. So then after that, I started doing, I've always loved travel. So the first thing I did was I ranked the 50 states by natural beauty.
Beautiful.
And I put Iowa last, and I put California second, and then
Who got the gold medal?
I gave it to Montana because they have the most beautiful lakes.
Gorgeous.
And Montana stole my heart when I first went. It's a very beautiful place. But yeah, I mean, you could argue any of the top 5 are first. There's so much beauty here. It gets me excited. But I did that from home, from my garage. And the U.S. series did so well. I think it got over 100 million views.
Wow.
And that I was like, people like this. And I wasn't going anywhere at this point. I was just doing a lot of research of each state and analyzing what had the most beautiful spots. And then I would try to find photographs to show people what it looked like. But the main idea was I had this big map of America, and I would take a Post-it note and write the number of the rank and then put it on there and then show the photographs.
But what made you think of nature?
When I started looking at social media and I saw a couple photos of these crazy places like Patagonia, Iceland.
So it was just
Hawaii.
Stunning optics, beautiful aesthetics.
Exactly. I mean, I was like, this place looks like a fairy tale. Like, this place doesn't look like it should exist in reality, but it actually does. And I was like, I really want to go there someday.
So for the sake of our viewers and our listeners, the reason why you're on the show is twofold. Number one, you have a cool name. That in and of itself. Secondly, there's a ton of scientific research which shows the most anxious, the most depressed, most overwhelmed generation ever, the impact that nature and specifically watching a sunset or sunrise has on slowing down our internal world and just feeling a lot more relaxed. Everything that social media is intended to do, this is an antidote for.
Okay.
4 things I think are converging. Number one, being out in nature, what it causes, there's an inverse correlation between cortisol, which is your anxiety chemical, and oxytocin, which is your happy drug. So your anxiety stress drug decreases, and there's an inverse correlation. So your happy drug increases. There's a natural thing. If you're in nature, that inverse correlation is much more acute. However, you can vicariously experience that by watching somebody in nature. So that's number one. Number two, within nature, specifically watching a sunset has a very unique therapeutic and medicinal impact on slowing down adrenaline and the sense of the perspective. We're small in the grand scheme of things. So a lot of our worry is pale in significance of the grand scheme of the galaxy. That's 2. Number 3, music. Music's a huge thing in terms of touching the heart and the soul. What this generation finds repugnant is things that are contrived, plastic. Curated Instagrams, it's passe.
I feel that.
They want real. That is real. You can't possibly have a prop
Yeah.
and have the synthetic AI. It's real. They can see you there.
Yeah.
So you're hitting 4 of the hot buttons to really help this generation get out from this, hamster on a treadmill, which is what social media is doing, just keeping them distracted and busy so that you can't think and that you worry about what other people think. It's a terrible, terrible cycle. But when you slow down and you get out, it changes your perspective. And if you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change.
Yeah, I get so excited hearing this because I didn't know there was so much science behind watching sunsets that it's good for you. I'm like, oh, sweet, I'm actually doing something that's very healthy.
Amazing. That's why I asked you before the show, if you did a deep dive, Josh, and looked at your followers, I'd be very interested to see demographically how many Gen Z, how many young people are following you based on, because
it is primarily Gen Z.
You're really helping millions of people get out of themselves and slow down to the speed of life.
Well, thank you so much. Yeah, that's my goal, is to make an impact. I'm super honored, and I absolutely love just getting out there and exploring and sharing these beautiful places with a goal to impact for humanity, to go beyond our four walls of our home and get outside and explore the universe. I mean, I've been only on Earth so far, unfortunately, but yeah, there's just so much out there. It's just crazy. I mean, we live in a fairy tale. There's so much. There's so many special things out there.
If I were to ask you, what's your preconceived stereotypical idea of the average Gen Z person? What would you say? Where are they? Are they outdoors or are they indoors, firstly?
Definitely indoors, okay. The average person. And definitely spends, probably 9 to 12 hours a day on a screen.
That's precisely my point. So most of these people, and I'm not blaming them, this is a generation that grew up with a smartphone, they grew up with social media. So the idea of getting out and the idea of being in a place which by definition shows that there's a bigger world out there, it has such a huge therapeutic impact.
I feel that directly when I'm out in these places. I just feel such inner peace. Like a lot of times I get really into the social media game and posting. I try to post 3 times a day on Instagram and TikTok and keeping up with everything. But my happiest moments are when I'm just there at the spot, just taking it in. And I'm like, oh, dude, this is like, it's unreal. It feels like, it's like I'm asleep in my bed dreaming of some insane, crazy dream, but it's real. I'm there.
So is it more of a compliment if someone comes up and says, hey, are you the influencer or aren't you the nature guy? It seems like your heart and soul is much more about what a beautiful planet we've got. And most people don't capitalize on just exploring that. Oh,
I would say that's super accurate. There's so much to see. I mean, I get so excited. So our Earth is literally, it's like a festival of beauty. Like every day, all over the world, nonstop. It's just so pretty, and it is a fairy tale. There's so much to see, and it's just crazy to me how it's never ending. Like first, we get the daytime with the beautiful sun and the clouds and beautiful animals, trees, everything of the day, and then the sun goes down and the whole sky lights up pink, orange, purple. Crazy show. 30 minutes later, the sky is full of stars. It's just like stars, shooting stars, galaxies.
Most young people never see that. That's part of what we're trying to do is broaden the lens. Just realize we're not in this little bubble. There's a huge world out there. There must be crazy incidents, Josh, that you've been through that, where crazy stuff has happened. Because you're in these most exotic places where, I've got to believe that there's a bear's jumped out of a tree at some point or some crazy stuff.
There has been some crazy stuff. Yeah, thankfully nothing super dangerous with wild animals so far. A lot of beauty as far as wild animals. One crazy story was in March. I was going to Bolivia for the first time, beautiful country, to see the biggest salt flats in the world out there. Now, if you go at the right time of the year, it's covered in water, so it's like it mirrors the sky. When I was entering Bolivia back in March, it was funny. It's a little different in South America, how things work. And I was trying to figure out how to get there. And Bolivia only has one airline that flies into this place called a Uni, where the salt flats are.
Yep.
And a lot of my trips are last minute, which has pros and cons. The primary reason is the weather. I try to travel with the good weather and chase it, so I'm not in a random spot stuck for a week with terrible weather, which all weather forms have beauty. But I try to shoot for the best weather depending on the spot.
Yep.
So at last minute, I'm like, yo, let's go to Bolivia with 2 of my buddies and let's go there tomorrow and get there. So this airline had no more flights left. So I was like, hey, what if we fly to Chile and then get a taxi 6 hours to the spot and cross the border? So I called the taxi company and they were like, yeah, we can do that. So I booked the ticket that night. We fly out in the morning.
Yeah.
We get to Chile.
From where? Where are you guys flying from?
So I'm in Rio, in Brazil. And there's this town called Gamala in Chile, which is about 3 hours from the border of Bolivia. And it's on the southern side of Bolivia where the salt flats are. Okay. So I'm like, the drive is 6 hours from Calama to Uyuni. So I called the taxi. I was like, hey, is there any way you could drive us to Uyuni so we can get there tomorrow and go watch the sunset? And they're like, yeah, we can do that. So we fly. So I booked the ticket based on that. We get there. We get in the taxi. We drive we get to the border of Bolivia, and they have an exit for Chile and an entrance for Bolivia. It's a little complicated. We go to the exit in Chile, and they tell us, hey, your taxi is not allowed to cross the border.
Oh, wow.
They don't have the right stuff that they need to do that.
So there you're on the border with a camera and a golf cap.
Exactly. So the taxi had told us they could, but the authorities told us we couldn't. So we ended up saying, okay, well, I guess we're just going to have to walk across. So we stopped there, and we have to walk 3 kilometers across no man's land to the Bolivia checkpoint. And the taxi just leaves us. So me and my buddies are just walking there in the desert at like 10,000 feet of elevation, way high in the mountains.
That's awesome, though.
Walking across. And we get to the Bolivia side, and it was closed for lunch. So we had to sit there for a couple hours until the guy came back. And it was there was like no one there. It was kind of wild.
But you don't seem to be the kind of guy that would be super pissed off and be grumbling about it.
I try to just roll with it. Just roll with it. I mean, not really much you can do. So
I'll tell you what's unbelievable. We're doing some research before the show. You have, I could be off, but let's say roughly close to 23 million followers on TikTok. So the profiles of this show is all about straight talk. So the straight talk is people who have that amount of followers are usually outrageous content or some scantily clad person, right? That's what eyeballs are trained to see. It's, outrageous stuff or the prurient interest. Think about this, Josh. You've got the same amount of followers showing pure, unfettered beauty. Wow, that is super cool.
That's crazy. Thank you. That's an honor. Speaking earlier, you were talking about compliments. My favorite compliment that I've received is on trips. When I go to these pretty spots, people will come up to me and say, hey, I can't believe you're here. It's so good to meet you.
Oh, they know you from
they know cool. me. And then they're like, I'm actually on this trip because of you. You inspired me to come on this trip.
That is insane.
And I'm like, what? That's so cool.
Meaning what? They saw one of your videos?
They saw one of my videos and they were like, hey, we got to go on a trip. Let's go to this pretty spot. And then I saw them there. And that really hits hard because that's my goal, is to inspire people to get out there. I'm like, man.
So I was at a panel recently, and the whole reason why we launched this Lighthouse Edutainment was looking at the suffering and the anxiety and the stress of a generation that's really struggling, and coming up with highly researched tools and specifically customized content to help these kids. And thankfully, we've had some tremendous feedback. If I had to ask you, so that's the goal, that's what we're doing. If I had to ask you, if money wasn't an issue, what's the goal? 3, 5, 7 years from now? So it sounds like you are more purpose-driven than financially driven. I might be wrong, but what's the best case scenario 5 years from now?
I would definitely say you're accurate on that. 5, 7 years from now, I'm at a point now where I want to keep doing what I'm doing until the day I die. I love exploring. A lot of people say I'm crazy, which is probably true because I travel nonstop. But I love being out there in the moment in these crazy fairy tale like places and being out there. So the best case scenario, 5 to 7 years, is to do exactly what I'm doing now, but reaching even more people and also developing more depth as I extend from short form to podcast, longer videos, maybe documentaries, whatever I can do to reach my ultimate goal is to inspire people to get out and appreciate the beauty that we live in and just chase after life because it's so special.
What's more scintillating to you? Being in a gorgeous part of the world, watching it, or the idea that you share it and know that it somehow is touching the heart and souls of millions of people?
Wow. Wow, no one's ever asked me that. That's crazy.
Because I always ask people, because I work with people like Jimmy, etc. What happens? Would you still feel the same way if you couldn't share this?
Man, this is a crazy question.
That's my job.
That's wild. It would still definitely hit as hard being there.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be as feasible to do it.
Yeah, for sure. Because you don't seem to be, I've watched you, you don't seem to be super conscious that there's a camera there. Mm-hmm. I don't think your personality changes in front of the camera or not. Mm-hmm. So there's something internally that's driving you, that resonates with your heart and soul, with beauty and being out there.
Oh yeah, I definitely love being out there. I feel healthier when I'm out there, just on the go.
And that's because you are. So I'm going to ask the question. I always think, what would a viewer want to ask now that they've got to know you a little bit? What's this going to do for relationships? Traveling the world, it's cool. Very tough, because I speak to a lot of people. We represent a lot of people who are on the road, non-stop, entertainers. Is that something that you factor in? It's not important to you. It's the right relationship will just roll with you.
It all depends on you and who you have the relationship with. I mean, for me, I would like to, with a future partner, keep traveling. Hopefully, I would love to keep doing to the extent I am now, but that might not be feasible. But yeah, I mean, relationships are just a part of, loving each other and sacrifice. We're all different. So
yeah,
we just have to roll with it as it comes. But, I'd love to find someone who would be willing to explore.
Amazing. Talk to us a little bit about this 50 states, 50 sunsets, 60. That's an unbelievable concept. Do you want to just share us a little bit about the idea?
Absolutely.
Because you just finished, right?
I just finished the USA Sunset Tour. We did 50 sunsets in 50 states in 50 days. We went to the most beautiful spot, or one of the most beautiful spots to watch the sunset. You got 50 states? 50 sunsets, 50 states, 50 days.
Where did that idea come from? It's a cool idea.
I came up with it talking with a buddy a couple months ago. I've always had the idea to go to 50 states in 50 days. It'd be like a cool trip. But I didn't really have like a good purpose behind it. And then earlier this year, I was like, yo, what if we watch the sunset at the
50 days to do 50 states.
Exactly.
I'd love to have your frequent flyer miles.
So we just did it. It was crazy. It was intense. It was a grind. It was also a blast. It was a lot of driving. It was probably, a lot of people have been to 50 states in 50 days, a decent amount. But ours probably was definitely one of the hardest, if not the hardest, because we were going to specific, difficult to reach spots in each state.
How much do you research ahead of time to say, this is where I'm doing Montana, this is Utah?
I had the whole thing planned out, each spot, and researched. We did, on a handful of states, I would say probably 10 to 20, we switched the spot depending on the weather of that day.
Gotcha.
So we engaged in what I call cloud dodging. So we try to dodge the clouds or get to the specific point where the sunset is going to be the best possible piece of artwork. So you want to try to line it up where the sun is like setting right below a cloud, so it pops underneath, it shines the bottom of the cloud out.
And the music, some of it it's just superimposed efforts based on what mood or do you know beforehand?
In an ideal situation, I know what music I'm going to use before I post it.
Okay.
And it depends on the type of videos you're making. So with mine specifically, what's been most successful for me is going based on trends, what sounds are trending.
Gotcha.
As far as social media performance,
Yep.
There's a lot of science behind it, but one of the most important things is the sound. So it depends on what currently is trending and what people are enjoying. And it's really hard to tell what's going to go viral. I really don't understand yet how we as a species, like how things go viral and how that like computes with our minds altogether. But with the videos, it depends on which sound is.
If you look at one of your TikTok episodes that has had the most following, is there any thread that you can look at just so we can understand the nature of people? Is it the music? Is there something unique about the actual optics? Or it's still figuring this thing out?
That comes down to the sound and the view. So it has to be a really good view. If the view is good enough, it can go viral no matter what the sound is. Now, one thing with social media that's big today, especially with these big companies like TikTok and Instagram, they're like a machine. They want lots of videos. Like you got to go viral again and again and again. And that's a hard thing. It's really hard for us in social media to stay relevant and keep going viral. That's the key.
What do you mean? In other words, you've hit a frequent amount of times where you get a big. So you're not getting a call from the CEO of TikTok and say, "Hey, Josh."
No, I'm not. It's the algorithm. It all comes down to the algorithm. So it's a crazy science, but that I don't understand extremely well. But my success has been from going viral again and again and again and staying relevant. And it comes in waves, and it's a combination of the view and the sound. I would say the view is 51%, the sound is 49% on average. A lot of times, like I was saying, it doesn't matter if the view's so good, it'll just go viral. But to go viral again and again and again, you want to hit it with a good sound.
If you could meet anyone in the world, anyone who's super famous in the world of photography, nature, is it that kind of person?
No, the first person that comes to mind is Tom Cruise.
How
I
so?
love his drive for just adventure. I mean, it comes to my mind when I watch his movies. He just wants to get out there and experience life like to the craziest extent.
You know, he's one of the only people in Hollywood that does not use stuntmen.
Yes, I knew that. I love it. I think that's amazing. It's organic. It's real.
So that's again.
I resonate with that because my stuff is real, and I think our generation does too. So I'm like, yo, I want to go.
Or let me do it the other way around. If you look back at your life, at a person who's had the biggest impact. I'm saying this because I want to make a point. Someone who you look back and just have just a debt of gratitude. This is a person that I didn't appreciate at the time, but really had an impact in your life. Am I right to say it's probably not a famous person, right?
No, it's not. I was thinking about my parents.
So
yeah.
My point being, and I've done this for a long time, the people that really impact you the most are people that you're close to, that you can relate to. It's not this idea of this rich and famous. That's something that most people feel is on a pedestal. You can't reach that. What you're doing, people know they can get on a plane and they can go see that. So let's pivot to a question that I try and ask all our guests. You're 93 years old. Big chocolate cake, 93 candles. Bring in the chocolate cake. Everyone starts singing. You're next to your significant other. We found Mrs. Nature, your family. There's a boom mic going around the room. What do you want these people to be saying about you?
Wow. That I inspired them to live their life more to the fullest, to take action and believe that they could accomplish what they want to accomplish.
Because you are someone
greatness,
wanted to go out and memorialize some of the most beautiful spots in the world.
Mm-hmm.
People thought you were nuts. You ignored the naysayers and you did it.
I definitely did. My parents were not happy when I left Enterprise. My dad was against it for a while, but he finally turned around. He lives in Spain. He finally turned around when he saw local Spanish people asking him about me. It's like, oh man, I see your son like making it. And he was like, what? He didn't really get it at first, but then he's like, man, he's making an impact on these people and he's not even here. So I was like, oh.
Before we wrap up here, I think two questions that I'm thinking someone driving down the freeway right now watching this would want to ask you. I've seen a lot of your stuff. It's mainly America-centric. The idea is to capture the most gorgeous spots global, right?
That's definitely globally. And, I'd love to go out in the solar system, but...
is that one of your aspirations?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Earth is so pretty and there's even more beauty out there. I just love how the universe we live in is just like, it's so cool. There's so much beauty in it. In nature.
Okay, so
it's
note
crazy.
yourself, introduce Josh to Elon Musk.
It'd be great.
You're a heart and soul guy. From the bottom of your heart, what's your message to tell the most anxious generation ever, based on the experience that you've had as a person really who's been out of the screen in the real world?
I would say life is a lot bigger than your backyard.
Beautiful.
There's way more going on than you could imagine and that I thought was happening. Before I started exploring, traveling opened my eyes so much. Just seeing so many different people over the continents and different ways of living life. And I would encourage our generation to not get so bogged down on your screen. I mean, I spend a lot of my time on my screen too, but get outside, go explore.
Beautiful.
Yeah, man, life is very beautiful and very precious, and I love it so much. And
that's beautifully said. So I would say the following. What you've shown millions of kids is that probably the best way to calm the nerves, costs nothing, and everyone has a backyard, which is a beautiful thing. You know?
That's so true. That's so true. I mean, there's beauty everywhere. My third best video of all time was in an airport parking lot. It got a couple 100 million views across all social medias. And I remember I was just checking in for this flight, and when I'd walked in, there was a lot of clouds, and I was like, man, that could be a good sunset if those clouds light up. So I checked in, and I had a window of 45 minutes. So I ran back outside, and sure enough, the whole sky was pink and orange. I got so excited. So I ran around. I found a water puddle in the back of the parking lot where there were a bunch of empty spaces, and I got the reflection of the sky and the water just in this parking lot, and it went crazy. It's like there's so much beauty just right there. Going back to the USA Sunset Tour, the best performing video was Kansas of all places. Of all places, the best performing video was Kansas. It just had a really good sunset, and I think a lot of people weren't expecting it. It was just really organic and real, and they're like, man, that's kind of crazy. You can find beauty anywhere.
I hope and pray that the sun will continue to rise for you, Josh. Thank you for coming to the Antony
Thank you so
Gordon
much
Show.
for having me. It's an
and
honor
obviously,
to be
you're going to tell your, you're going to tell your 23 million followers that to listen to the Antony Gordon Show is required listening.
Sounds great.
Keep up
this
the good work.
This is great. This is my first podcast, so I'm excited to be here, and thank you again for having me.
Okay, now to firstly reveal the answer to our brain stretch from the beginning of the episode. If your answer was that the surgeon is the patient's mother, you're correct. So let us know in the comments below if you got it right. Understand that obviously this is not about IQ, it's not about logic, it's about social conditioning. When we hear the word surgeon, we've been conditioned automatically to think that a surgeon is a man. The father is dead. How can this be? That same strategy of using social conditioning is something social media does to ensure that you buy things or make decisions that are not aligned with who you are and your value system. As you know, I want to make sure that at the end of every single episode, there's some unique tools for life that we can take from this episode, our so-called lighthouse sparks. Here are the sparks that I'd like you to think of and take home with you into your lighthouse toolbox for the rest of your life. Firstly, you cannot see the big picture when you're staring at a screen. But when you step outside, the world widens. If you disconnect for an hour, you won't lose your edge. You'll actually sharpen it. And I want you to remember this for the rest of your life. The trees don't rush. And somehow, they still grow taller than all of us. It's all about slowing down to the speed of life. The real flex isn't how fast you move, it's how aligned you move. So don't let the algorithm tell you what matters. Go outside, breathe, touch reality again. Life isn't meant to be lived in a scroll. It's meant to be experienced. Until next week, this is Antony Gordon reminding you to stay real, stay rare, and stay away.